Okay, there you go.
Hey everyone, good morning. What's today? Sunday. Man, I am so out of sorts of days here in Vegas. Panama. I haven't known what day it was. Like most days, I have to look. Okay, you guys. So we ate too much sugar in the last couple of days in the form of veggies and shrimp and pulpa pagada, which is octopus. So you really got to be careful. People think of sugars as just sugar, like just white sugar. No, sugar's in everything, except for beef. I mean, like protein, like animal protein. But even artificial proteins, like the vegan proteins, have a lot of sugar. But the problem is, it's not about necessarily gaining weight. It's about that you don't feel good when you start to eat sugar. And so I, for the last 2 days, felt really depressed, and yesterday was really bad. I was sleeping all day, and then I got the cold sweats at night because if you eat sugar and then you cut it out, you'll get sugar withdrawals. And that was the withdrawals. Cold sweats are when you're cold, but you're sweating, and you get that from sugar withdrawals. And it's crazy just from like the zucchini and the bell peppers, because we usually eat pretty much an all protein diet. If you guys know from Vegas, we ate beef, collard greens, kale, and garlic. They don't have collard greens and kale here. They have a little bit of kale, but it's really expensive. It's like, there's certain things here that they sell if you're just a tourist and you want something American, but it's not to buy on a daily basis. Like it's like $5 for a little bit of kale. It's too expensive. So we were trying to find other options. The good thing about kale and collard greens is they're leafy greens and they're so super low in their carbs or sugar. So people think of sugar as just sugar, but you got to think of sugar as carbs as well, because carbs are just complex sugars. And what they mean by complex is a little bit harder to your body to break it down, but not much harder. People have this weird conception that you can eat all these complex carbs and then they're going to be sugar free because it only has a little bit of sugar or zero sugar, but it's got carbs. It's the same thing. Now your straight sugar is going to be even worse because that goes right into your bloodstream and there's just no digestion process there when you're having straight sugar. But complex sugars are not much more. I mean, think of like rice. It doesn't take very much to digest rice. And so anything that your body can break down quickly can turn to sugar very quickly because everything breaks down to sugar. That's why meat is the best option because it takes the longest to break down to sugar, if at all. What actually happens when you do all beef is your body goes into ketosis and you start converting fat into energy. Whereas normally people try to use sugar for all their energy, which is a really bad idea because for one thing, sugar only gives you like that little burst of energy and then you're more tired at the end of the day. That's that artificial, you're like that sugar high and then you crash. And that's what was happening to me, but I didn't even get the sugar high because we were just having a little bit of zucchini. All I had was zucchini and it messed me up that much because we do no sugar. And I felt like crap. And it's not about like your weight, it's how you feel. That's what we keep explaining. So some people say you guys are too thin, but when we go to eat the other food, it makes us feel too crappy. That's why we eat all protein.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do my quick check-in here. Right?
Yeah, here's Jedi Rich. He got a little fat because he was also eating a lot of shrimp. So he's not fat now, like no one would call him fat, but like the feeling is what I'm saying, like where you feel sluggish. Your body could look fit, you could be, perfectly fit, but you feel sluggish.
Yeah, and that's the issue we have. And that's what we're fighting against right now.
Oh yeah, here's our other. There's the other one going.
There's the other one going. Yeah, you guys can either watch it through here.
There's the YouTube one.
There's the YouTube one. Wait, that's because that's there. It's hard to shoot this one, is it too high?
I think it's better that way. Do you need to see it?
No. I thought I would try it.
This is going to be bad angle that way.
Okay, we'll try it the other way then.
And then it's going to fall forward.
I don't like that.
Yeah, this was better. Yeah.
Well, I was going to try to show you my, did you show them what breakfast we're having?
Oh, I will. But you can see with the camera is. You don't have to see it. Okay, so what we're doing now is I did, these are beef burgers. So in the States, I have to do organics because there's so many, they mess with the food so much, the GMOs, genetically modified organisms, the steroids, the antibiotics, the hormones, all that. So this is just regular beef here in Panama, which is better than the organics in the States. But I added a little egg on top, just because when we do just the beef, we find we get too hungry. Because we normally used to do some collard greens and kale. So if I add a little egg, that helps, little huevos. So this is carne and huevos and garlic, and that's it. And that's what we eat every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As you guys saw for a couple days, we did some shrimp, some polvo pagano, which is octopus. We were doing some zucchini and bell peppers. Cut all that out because I felt terrible yesterday, you guys. I slept the majority of the day, didn't I, Jedi Rich? And I was super grumpy. I didn't feel well.
No.
It was really bad.
It was very
just
bad.
from the zucchini. And then in the middle of the night, or not even in the middle of the night, like at 6 p.m., I started getting the cold sweats. And that's when I was like, oh, geez. I realized what it was. Like, I hadn't even realized it was fully from the zucchini. I just was like, why am I so tired? I don't know what's wrong with me. And then once I got the cold sweats, because I cut those out, because I thought it might be from that. But then I realized, oh, sugar withdrawals. So if you're constantly eating sugar, you might not experience the sugar withdrawals. But if you ever go to cut out sugar, you'll see how strong sugar is. You'll get the worst withdrawals ever. Like, almost worse than alcohol withdrawals. They're about the same.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone through both. I was addicted to alcohol too, and those withdrawals, those are probably the worst ones. But sugar's right up there with it.
Okay, so here's my quick check-in, you guys.
So he's already looking.
This is for my own
this
benefit,
morning.
for those of you who aren't interested. But see, I started getting chubby, and it's not so much a vanity thing. It's not how you look.
Yeah, it's not like.
Not at this stage.
Like, he looks fantastic. It's how he feels.
At this stage, it's not about how you look. It's at this stage what we're concerned about is how we feel, and what we get is our body talks to us. So when you feel tired, like she slept all day yesterday, and was moody and irritable, and I was like, what the hell happened? I mean, from one day to the next, I was like, she's like, I don't know, and I was like, and then she started getting the physical symptoms of the sugar withdrawals, and that's because we're eating too many vegetables.
Yeah, and it's just from veggies. People get this weird conception that you can eat fruits and veggies to your heart's content. Completely the opposite. And especially fruit. Fruit is extremely high in sugar. But even veggies are. And especially certain veggies are even higher. Things like bell peppers have a lot of sugar. But I only chose those because there aren't a lot of options here. There's not really any leafy greens. We tried lettuce.
No, lettuce isn't really even a vegetable.
Yeah, lettuce is, they, like I said, they don't have collard greens. And their kale is just too expensive. Like, you can't, like, we like to get a bunch of kale. They're trying to sell a tiny bag of kale for like $5. That's too much. Because it's like $1.99 in the States for kale.
So what we learned was, though, that even just a little bit of sugar, not at once, though. You put a little bit in, but after a week of eating it, it built up. And then we kind of got the effects.
Yeah, so, like, you always think you're fine at first. That's the thing. If you go, oh, this doesn't even bother me. And, oh, I feel so good. And I even thought that I needed maybe some of the nutrients from it at first when I ate the zucchini and all of this. So, but then I realized what happens is you get really focused on the sugar too. Like, you'll want to eat more and more. Whereas when we eat this food, we forget to, like, most of the time we're like, oh, we're full and we forget that we maybe didn't have lunch or something. When we were eating the sugar, he was like constantly like, are you cooking again? Are you cooking? I'm like, I have been nonstop cooking. Like, yeah, I can't, geez, like I ended up was making like 4 meals a day. Because he was so hungry.
You crave more, it seems like. You crave more, but then, so anyway, so you have a couple things. So before you start getting, like, before you have to buy new clothes, okay, by the time you're buying new clothes and you have visible signs that you've eaten too much sugar, that is, that you've gotten fat, before that happens, you have other signals that tell you, and that's what she's talking about, these little irritability things. Now, if you mask those, like that tiredness with coffee, right? You won't know it for years, and you'll go to the gym and be trying to, why am I getting fatty? And then meanwhile, you'll have your fruit and vegetables, and then you'll drink your caffeine to wake up, and you go to the gym and probably have an energy drink because you're so tired you can't make it to the gym. You try to burn off that extra sugar, but it's the sugar that's making you fat and slowing you down.
Well, and the thing is, you guys, it really causes depression. And the caffeine, same thing now. So caffeine, you say, what's wrong with caffeine? Well, caffeine is one of the things that's really making you fat, if you don't realize that. The problem with caffeine is, if you don't know what caffeine does, most people have this misconception that caffeine gives them energy and suppresses their appetite. They're like, that's what they think it does. They think you give caffeine and you get energy. That's not what it does. Mm-hmm. What caffeine does is it dulls all your senses. So what it does is if you were feeling tired or feeling hungry, it now dulls those senses so you don't feel as tired and you don't feel as hungry. It doesn't mean it didn't make you that way. It just made you not feel that way. So what that means is all of your senses and all your hormones are dulled. Well, the one that you don't want to dull down is your insulin hormone. And caffeine does dull down your insulin hormone. So what happens is, let's say you have a hormone, they're producing a certain number of insulin for X amount of time. I don't know how that all works. But now you drink caffeine. Now they stop producing as much. So your body goes out of whack because insulin regulates your sugar. So your blood sugar rises. Well, when your blood sugar rises, your body says produce more insulin. So even though you had like this bank of insulin that was producing, and now it's just kind of in a dormant mode, now your body starts producing more insulin. Well, once the caffeine wears off, those other ones will start going again. So now you have way too much insulin in your body. The problem with insulin is insulin tells your body to store fat. That's what insulin is for.
That's why I'm getting fat.
Yeah, it tells your body to store fat. So too much sugar and too much caffeine will mess up your insulin regulators and you'll get too much insulin in your body, and insulin tells your body to go dormant mode, rest, hibernate, store fat. Your body thinks if you're eating a lot of sugar, and then caffeine is just, it doesn't know what to think about that, but that must mean you want to get ready for winter, and you're going to stay in, you're going to hibernate, you're going to load up, and that's not what you want on a daily basis when you're drinking your caffeine. You want the opposite. Most people drink caffeine and then go to the gym. Well, what they're telling themselves before they go to the gym is to store fat. Like, I'm going to drink this thing, tell my body to store fat, and then I'm going to go try to go to the gym and work it out.
Yeah.
And then sugar, the problem is you're consuming so much sugar that there's not enough gym time in a day to burn off the amount of sugar you're consuming. If you went to the gym for 24 hours, you still couldn't even burn off the amount of sugar
that's
most
another
people
good
are
point.
consuming.
If you happen to go to the gym to lose weight, what you're doing is you're creating a vicious cycle because you're eating too much sugar, so you're getting fat. But rather than pulling back on your sugar addiction or your sugar consumption, instead you choose to go to the gym and burn it off. Well, the problem is, as she mentioned, sugar makes you tired, sluggish, and depressed. So each day, if you keep saying, well, I'll get to eat my sugar today, I'll have my smoothie in the morning because I love my vegan smoothies. I'm not giving that up. Forget that. I don't care. I'll just go burn it off at the gym. Well, like any addiction, sugar increases you need more each time.
Yeah, and
So
you're always going to be hungry. That's the
you're always going to be
vicious
hungry.
cycle.
So yeah, it's a vicious cycle. So you create this sort of situation where you're going to the gym to burn off the food, but then you need to eat more food to get to the gym.
Well, and here's the thing too. People don't realize, when you eat what we're eating right now, you're not going to have cravings. Like, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm so hungry. Where when you're eating sugar, you're always hungry.
Food sounds delicious.
Always. Like, it doesn't matter if you just stuffed yourself. You can be so full, but you're still hungry. And that is from the sugar. That is, sugar turns off the sensor in your brain to say you're full. So when you eat sugar, and sugar in any form of carbohydrates, veggies, fruit, whatever, not just white sugar, not just the sugar you put in your caffeine. Oh gosh, if you're putting sugar and dairy and caffeine all together, oh my gosh, those are just like the three worst things you could do in the morning. And then cereal, milk, coffee, sugar. I mean, it's just the worst foods you could ever consume, and that is what they recommended. They're like, oh, have some cereal with a cup of coffee or juice. Orange juice is so much sugar, you guys. Juice is the worst thing for you to do because any sort of thing that you put in a liquid form goes right into your bloodstream. So smoothies, juices are now, it doesn't matter if you say, oh, it's got fiber, it's got protein. No, when you put it in juice form, it is just sugar. You have made it into a sugar form that goes right into your bloodstream. It doesn't matter if the little bottle says it's got 7 grams of protein, it's got this and that. You have like now made that in sugar form, because the protein, what's cool about this protein is your body has to break it down when you're eating a burger. When you've put a burger in a blender, you've made it very easy for your body to just go right in your bloodstream, because anything it doesn't use gets stored as fat. You want food that is hard to digest, in the sense of like where your body has to break it down. Otherwise, it's just instant sugar. So when you drink things, that's instant sugar. It doesn't matter if it says all this other stuff. Yeah, you might be getting a little bit of protein, but you're primarily getting sugar.
Mm-hmm.
So people, they get this weird conception they can have these protein smoothies and that's healthy for them. No, you're just liquefying your food, and it's gonna go anything that you didn't use. So like, let's say you take that 2,000 calorie. I had a friend that would go to the gym. He would go to the gym for 6 hours a day. That's when I was in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And he would do those 3,000 calories,
Oh,
like protein shakes. Like it was like, by the end of the day, you were doing like 3,000 calories in protein shakes. And that's what those guys do, they bulk up, those ones that bulk up. And he couldn't figure out why he was always like not able to like be, like he'd be like, I work out all the time, but I'm still kind of like fluffy. You're like, well dude, you're doing these protein shakes that's so much calories, so much sugar, they're liquid form. So those protein shakes are a terrible idea. If you guys are going to the gym and doing protein shakes, cut that out. Unless you're doing fine and your body's amazing and you feel amazing, then don't listen to me. But if you're going to the gym and you're struggling and you're doing a protein shake, do not. And same with if you're doing fruits and veggies right before you go in the gym, do not. That is not going to help you. You're going to get that tiny bit of surge and then you're going to crash at the gym. The surge is about 15 minutes, really, and then it crash after sugar. I know when I was in track in high school, sprinters would do things that were like high in sugar right before, maybe, but not hours before.
You did track?
I did track at a long distance. You did not want to do sugar because you would run out of energy. I did the 2 mile, the mile, and the 800. Yeah, you would not want to do sugar because on your 2 mile you run out of energy, but a sprinter might do it because they only have like maybe a 10-second thing, you know. They might do a little burst of the, drink something in 10 seconds, that works, but not for long-term anything. So if you're going to the gym for an hour, you can't be doing sugar because you're gonna crash. And then that's why you find the gym is so hard, and you're like, why is it so hard? And you also probably did caffeine before, which told your body to store fat and go into rest mode.
Oh yeah.
See, we only drink water. And what's amazing here in Panama is you can drink the tap water, which is a big deal for us because we were spending a lot of money on water in Vegas. Now, back to Vegas. I am going to Vegas in 5 days, you guys.
That's funny.
I know. I'm really a little bit upset. Not a little bit. Quite a bit upset that I have to leave Jedi Rich for 12 days because our whole thing is like being together. Like we're always together, and that's kind of like we live our life so we can be together. And I'm a little bit irritated that I now have to do something that we have to be apart.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be good because.
But we have a lot of issues there. Who's going?
Oh yeah, so the big issue is I cook every meal here,
Hi,
and I have to
Barry.
go
How you
shopping.
doing,
Yeah, hi, Barry. So I have to go shopping every day because we get fresh food. I can't buy enough for 2 days because it'll go bad with the fresh beef. Like it'll start to really smell if you by day 2. So I have to go every morning to get the fresh beef because any other beef is not satisfactory to us here. So they do have some bad food if you look for it. But the regular food is pretty good, but you have to make sure you get the fresh, high quality. We get the premium Molida Premium, which is premium ground beef, and it's fresh. But anyway, so what I'm worried about is Jedi Rich is not going to have the food that I make for him. So what he's going to document every day on here, and I'll probably be, what's going to happen is when I'm in Vegas, I'm going to do some periscopes probably where I'm staying once in a while in the mornings, but he's going to do one every morning here, Periscope and probably YouTube, documenting what he's eating, because what you guys are going to see is how he feels, how much weight he gains, and what foods are not so bad, because we don't know but it's all delivery food, but it's better than American delivery food because we had it the first day. It's still very good food here, even for delivery, but he's definitely gonna gain weight because of we even gained weight with the sugar.
Yeah, I hope we'll have any guys drive out.
So he's gonna have to get all food delivery while I'm gone.
That's a big issue because she handles all the food around here. So.
Oh, because the reason why he knows how to cook, but the thing is, our stove is very temperamental here. It's a gas stove that for sometimes doesn't work. I don't know why. Like certain times of the day, it doesn't have enough like oomph to it. So like on the same burner, like the same burner that in the morning cooked your food amazing, in the afternoon is like a trickle of like trying to, and the flame's still there, but there's like no energy coming out of it or something. I don't really fully know how these gas stoves work. But something about maybe if too many people are using gas at the same time, I don't know.
Can you see if they sell bones at the store?
Oh yeah, like, oh that's good. Oh, but I have to get a crock pot for that.
Well,
yeah, get you a crock pot.
That'd
You
be
know
like
that
that.
one. Oh god, that's a great idea. Like you find a crock pot and some bones for you. Good idea.
Crock pot should be easy. There's this, little, that little.
Yeah, that makes a fortune.
That's true. But I mean, crock
Oh,
pot.
Machichazo has crock pot.
Oh, they do?
Oh yeah, Machichazo. And they're cheap. We're going there today. I gotta get water. So I do like to buy this diamond water. Is only $1.25 for this whole jug, but only at this one store, which is in this one area, which is called Caledonia, which is a really poor area. We lived there last time, but not in like a condo. We were living in hotels, and so we stayed at a hotel there. So we like going over there. But there's this store called Machichazo, which is a huge grocery store, department store. It's like 6 stories or something, or 5 stories or something, where it's got like everything. The bottom is a grocery store, and then you go up the levels and you get like hardware stuff, kitchen stuff, hair stuff, blow dryers. It's kind of like a really big, I would say like a combo of like a Circuit City, Best Buy, and a grocery store all together. And so they're very cheap there, but we have to Uber over there. But good thing is, okay, so we Uber or taxi. The Ubers and taxis are only anywhere from $3 to $5 anywhere you go, which is super cool because that's way more affordable. But okay, you guys, I'm gonna be in Vegas from November 13th through the 25th. So during that time, you guys are gonna watch us in 2 different places. So it'll be interesting to see. So we'll probably be coming on here to even say hi to each other. Because I don't know, I gotta get a SIM card when I get there, but we're having major issues with our SIM chips, where like I can't message like certain people. It's a mess. We're just trying to get messaging, and they're like, oh no, we don't have that. You can have 50 messages. We're like, no, that's not gonna work. We need like we got unlimited data, but then we couldn't figure out how to get. It's complex here, especially because we don't understand the language. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, did you already turn it off?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. He's taking the lights away. I thought maybe I'm just talking to nobody. Okay, guys, we'll catch you later.